Hi, Jean. Can you hear me? Jean Ellen? Somebody else?
Yes, I can.
Hi there. Oh, and then we've got someone named Mom. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna give it just 2 more minutes. We'll see if anybody else jumps on with us. And I am recording if we have anything that comes up today worth recording. Let's see, we've got Dot hopping on right now. Jean. All right, I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. Linda. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So my name is Sarah Keenan, and I am the Programs and Partnerships Manager with the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. I've been with the Food Bank in a couple different roles for about 7 years. Amanda is in Albany, I think, as everybody knows. She is along with a cohort of folks from the food bank at a Feeding New York conference that takes place every June in Albany. So I'm sure they're going to be picking up some valuable intel for us and bringing it back to share with the group. But so I'm hopping in for Amanda. I have watched a number of the office hours that have been recorded, and it really seems like kind of a organic process where if you folks have things on your mind, this time is really yours, and I want to make sure that we honor it. I did want to call attention to Amanda's weekly digest did go out, and there's some valuable links in that digest. We had sent out a Q2 survey, a quick pulse survey to the network. So if you have a chance to fill that out, that would be great. We're checking in to get folks' thoughts on things such as purchasing canned fruits and vegetables produced in the US and the kind of the cost differential and getting some input from all of you on that and a couple other things. There's a couple recordings in there. One going over the new grant dashboard, which if you had a chance to watch, you'll see there are some things it's good to have to reference to know the changes. I'm not super familiar with Found It and how it looked before, but I've watched the recording that Amanda gave, and there are some things that you all need to be aware of. There's also a recording that goes into some depth about the changes to the HIPNAP food grant for this year into 2026. So worth your time to check out that weekly digest if you get a chance. But now I want to turn it over to all of you and see what's on your mind. What's going on?
So Sarah, I just did the survey and the question about purchasing vegetables and fruits abroad versus here in the United States. We still don't know anything about the tariffs, if they're going to be adding tariffs. So do you anticipate that those costs, if we decide to stay with abroad, that those costs may go up as well?
That's a great question, and one I don't have the answer to other than kind of the broad general. Obviously, everybody's keeping an eye on how food costs are going to be affected by that. I don't think that was a big part of the reasoning behind looking into it. I think there had been some quality issues over the years.
Okay.
Specifically, I remember folks talking about some canned peas that were less than desirable.
Mhm.
you know, so we wanted to look into alternatives, and obviously the closer to home you can buy food is always a benefit if it makes sense with your budget, etc. But yeah, I can look into that, and I'll check in, and I'm sure Amanda will also be watching this recording, and we can get some feedback for you from kind of the purchasing side of things, the food sourcing side of things, and get a better answer for you. That's a good
Okay, thank
question.
you. Thank
Sure.
you.
Anybody have anything else? It was nice to see the sun shining today. I guess now that it's not the weekend, we're allowed to have a little sunlight.
Uh, hmm.
Kind of that funny time of year with that first half hip nap winding down and kind of going into our growing seasons and different things. We're kind of, I don't want to call it a lull. It's definitely not quiet and nobody's bored, but it's kind of a transitional time of the year for a lot of us. Linda, anything on your mind? I'm gonna pick on folks that I see.
Not really. You're right. When it's the end of the grants and the beginning, and I was confused because the grants say they run out the end of June. But we had to spend by the first week of June. Well, I had appropriated till the end of June, and then you end up having to send some back and then shorting yourself for the next 3 weeks. I was not comfortable with that.
I think that's a really important perspective for us at the food bank to hear. I know that on Amanda's side and the administrative side, there's a lot that goes into the process of making sure all the funds are spent down and making sure, you know, some agencies might be sitting on so much that they can't spend down. So the timing of it, but also, like I said, I think the implication that you just raised is an important one for us to discuss at the food bank. Um,
Well, I think the wording on when we look up how much grant money we have when we're ordering food, I believe it says expiration date. So we kind of all use that as, okay, we got to use by. And when I
Right.
questioned Amanda about it last week, she said, no, you got to use it by, I think it was the 7th or 8th by
Of
this
June.
week. So it's, yeah, the wording needs to be changed a little bit or put both, I don't know. But yeah, that's the second time we kind of got caught in that as well.
I think that's really, really good feedback. And where, Jean, did you say where that language was? It's kind of right in the
When
order.
when you
Under
go to the
grants.
orders,
Yeah.
it's under grants. And you can see all the grants that you've been awarded and how much money you have left from week to week. It's in there. And I believe it's the expiration date. I don't know, Linda may know, but I think it says
Right.
expiration date.
Yeah,
Right.
And it
And
was like June, the end of June.
says
Yeah,
six
June.
23, because I just
Yes.
submitted an order today to run mine all the way down, thinking I still had until 6/23. And it
Yeah.
actually worked on the site, so I'm curious to know what's actually going on behind the scenes, because I won't get as much as I ordered, thinking that it was just going to be grant money.
Right.
So Jean Ellen, you didn't get phone calls telling you, are you going to spend it down? Because we
I
need
did
that.
not. No
I
phone
got
call.
calls constantly.
No, and we have in the past gotten calls, but I did not get any call. We only had like $500 in there, but still, it's $500. That's a lot to us, so.
Right.
The problem with ours though is that I have to get a certain amount of meat frozen. And I can't lump sum it 3 weeks early and try to hold it for that
Yeah.
long. I have no space.
Yes, I understand. Yep,
That's the problem.
yeah.
I'm
So I
taking
guess I
notes
should
on all
call and
this.
follow up and see what's happening with that order, because it's not until for next Tuesday, but like I said, the grant money was in there, and when I put the order in, it ran it down, so.
Last year, I think when this happened, they went and gave us a leeway, and then they took it out of the grant when it did come in. and
Okay,
picked- But I don't know if they were going to do it this time. I have no clue.
Hmm.
I'm jotting all of this down as well because I want to make sure that we get some clarity around this, because that seems kind of stressful as
She's-
far as planning goes.
It is, Amanda said it is in our contract, what the date, the use by date is. But, you know, we just don't have time to go back and hunt down those contracts and find out
Sure.
how much money we
Exactly.
got. And it should be in that grant section.
and
Thank
if it's
you.
not in there, I mean, there shouldn't be erroneous information in there. It should either not be any date at all, or it should be correct when it has to be
Yeah.
out the door by, so.
Right,
Use
so
by,
that
whatever.
that expiration date that's showing up on your on your dashboard of ordering
Yep,
Mhm.
doesn't relate to what the language is in the contract.
yep,
Correct.
apparently.
Gotcha.
I mean, I feel bad because I understand Amanda's side of it. If
Oh,
there's
yeah.
gonna be extra and there's people that can use it, I get it. But they need to understand our situation too.
Sure, yep.
No, I agree. I think, like I said, I think this is all really valuable stuff for us to hear. And I know that when decisions are made or when change is happening, that it's we try to take every scenario into account, but everybody does things different and everyone's ordering process is different, frequency is different, and I think it's valuable to bring this to our attention for sure. Linda, you said you placed that order today? Or no, you don't have an order.
I did. I placed an
You
order
have an
today.
order. It was today.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Actually, I added to an order. I started it last Friday and I added to it today. So there's 2 in there unless they've been merged already.
Gotcha. Okay.
Did Aaron go with Amanda?
Aaron is in Albany as well, yes.
Okay, then there is a problem because I did it, and I sent him several emails, didn't get a response. I sent a follow-up order because now the cottage cheese was on there. And I did like they said, there was no delivery open, so I put it as a pickup to be merged with mine. But I thought I had to do 750 pounds and I have an adjustment. So is anybody checking Aaron's emails?
I believe so, but I can confirm as soon as we get off of this. I mean, Amanda and Aaron, they've been on throughout the day.
Yeah, can you
But I
please?
want to make sure. Yep.
Because
So-
they sent me the order the way I put it with 750 pounds. I don't need that many chicken wings or
Okay.
chicken legs, whatever it is. I just did it to get the weight. And the peaches, can they adjust according to my email, please? Because they sent me a confirmation of the order. They merged them. They sent me a confirmation, but I really don't need that. I don't have room for it. I could use it, don't have room.
Right.
The chicken wings.
Chicken and peaches, yeah. Part of them, yeah.
Okay. And you said you sent an email with the
Yes.
details. Okay. I'll reach out to Amanda and Aaron as soon as we get off here and get somebody to follow up.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm sure somebody's checking it, but just not being involved with that process. I want to make sure that
Well, they could
that
be
I follow up
very
because
busy.
yeah, I'm not sure what the schedule is like for them, but I want to make sure you get an answer. And when you said that was scheduled as a pickup, but it was an add-on to an existing order.
It got adjusted and they sent me the paperwork on it. But they didn't adjust the numbers down.
Okay.
So when you're adding on to an order, that is the procedure, is to put it in as a pickup? Because this is the first time I'm hearing that. I
At a
just put it
later
in.
time. At a
Okay.
later time, so you don't take anybody else's spot away. And then
Okay.
let them know as soon as possible.
So I put mine in as a second order for delivery on 6/17. So hopefully they'll get merged that way.
It works.
They should combine them,
Yeah.
either scenario. But, you know, I know that they pay special attention to the notes section on the
Right.
orders as well. So if there's ever anything funky going on there, you can add some language there and it'll get through to the admin team. Anything else going on, folks?
I'm just curious with the changes to the HIPNAP food grant procedure, the whole video I listened to. And then we got our grants allocated to us. I'm curious as to whether people, for the most part, went up or down or pretty much stayed the same. I don't need specific numbers. I'm just looking for what you thought of it.
Way down.
And are you in a county that has a county grant money? Okay, so yours is way down in addition.
And two other persons in the county have already, but when one of them went to Amanda or whomever, they were told, this is the grant that we're going to give you. That doesn't mean you're not going to get a legislative grant or blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
okay,
Not to panic. That's what I was told.
okay. I was wondering when the legislative grant, what happened with that? Maybe that should have been like a blurb on that training video would have been helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I know I was stressed.
Yeah, ours was down too, but not way down. So I was just curious.
Well, they were very generous last year, at least for me, because I was doing the low end of it. If I think of it that way, on the 3 days, but I could have helped more people and been better about it if I knew there was that much money involved. There was that much grant money that needed to be.
Yeah. Ours was down without any of the legislative or anything. Ours was also down last year. I mean, way down from what we used to get back in 22 and 23. So just weird.
I think I was explained also and they told me down at Chow, I think the number of agencies now
Yeah.
has blown up.
Yeah. Amanda said that last year too. I remember when she was doing the preview for the HIPNAP grants, that the number of grant agencies is way up. So it makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah. I did tell them if the money was going to be down that low, I'm not going to be able to do 5 days a week like I do. But I'm trying to serve populations that work. They come on different days.
Right.
Not everybody gets the same day off.
Yeah, that's true.
So trying to figure out who you want to hurt, and I don't want to hurt anybody. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're still only doing 3-day with, unlimited visits, however often you want to come back. So
Oh, really?
it should work out.
Ours is once a week. Well, once every 7 days or more.
Okay, well.
Unless it's an emergency. But there are several pantries within the area. It's
Yeah.
Like and we have seen people who go to 3 or 4 pantries in one day.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Do a little comparison shopping.
Well, no, they take from everybody anything they can. But when you're carrying stuff out to the vehicle for them, and some of my workers do that, and they open up their trunk and it's full of boxes of food.
Yeah.
My workers just like shake their head because we see people come in on bikes because they don't own a car.
Right.
Or get off the bus, and it hurts their spirit.
Definitely.
But I can't judge them. I can't judge any of them.
You can only just provide the food that they say they need. So
Exactly. Has anybody here, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go right ahead.
Has anybody here tried to share with another agency and had to fill out that document in any form?
I have not. We we haven't historically shared any of the food that we get from the food bank with another agency, so I did not fill it out. Why did you struggle with it?
Well, I had an agency who needed something and I had it. Oh, you know, when the hams came out, that's what it was, Easter hams.
Mm-hmm.
We were on this meeting and somebody said, well, I have 12 extra hams and I'm not that far from you. I can bring them over. And they did, and they were handed out, but I don't normally do it. And I don't have time. I have enough time to do the paperwork for these grants never and the follow-ups and all this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the time, and I'd rather not share than have to fill out paperwork, but I want to help people if they need it and if I have it.
Right.
It's a catch
And
22.
it should be a one-time thing, right? That you have whoever once a year, whatever it might be.
But if you're sharing with a couple different agencies, I think you have to do one for
You have to
each
identify
agency.
each one,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I thought
But the hand-
Amanda was working on like an amalgamated version of it where like everybody in the county is reciprocal to everyone else in the
Oh.
county that has an agreement with the food bank. Did I totally
That would be
misunderstand
great.
that?
Yeah.
I thought that's what she said.
I missed it if they did.
I also missed it if she did. It could be something that she's working on. I know trying to create some ease in this process is something that she's thinking about. So that
Right.
might be something that I don't have the details on.
Maybe I got ahead of myself and she said that would be something she would like to work toward, but I had understood that that's what I was expecting, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, it would be, I see the sense in that, right? Like if you're a partner, you're already approved.
Right.
I think we just want to be able to connect the dots and know, who is a partner, who's not, what opportunities there are, et cetera. But,
See,
yeah,
I
that's,
didn't look at it that way. I looked at it
Mhm.
that if they're transporting to their agency, what if it goes bad? Did they use a cooler? What were the temperatures and all this other stuff? That's the part that I was thinking was the concern. Because if something goes bad in between,
But if it's somebody like in your county that is already getting hams from the food bank, they've already
they're
agreed to
food
follow
safety
all of the
certified,
procedures.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
you shouldn't have to worry about it. But if it's somebody that didn't get any hams and then there's a recall, you have to know where those hams went. That part I get, but
Yeah.
the first three steps should be a
Ellen?
given.
I just found in my notes what you were talking about.
Uh-huh.
Amanda said she plans to do a contract for sharing for the whole county, a one-time rolling contract ideally, so that once you're signed on, it renews yearly automatically. That's what I wrote
Yay.
down in my notes, so.
Okay, thank you for taking good notes.
I don't always understand them myself, but I'm surprised it was there.
And does anybody know, does this apply to the Friendship Donation Network as well? If we have extra food, we can donate to them?
They're a partner of ours, so I
They
believe
are,
so.
okay, all right, because I know a lot of pantries use them and
Yeah.
usually they will take anything if we have extra, okay.
where is that agency?
That's in Ithaca.
Oh.
It's kind of like Chow are you in Broome County?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like your Chow, I think.
Okay.
Is everybody getting lots of new people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are too.
We're not. I don't understand because I come on the calls and I hear everybody else is being inundated with new people, but we're getting a few, but not, big numbers like I was expecting because of these calls. But we're pretty insulated too here in the valley, and we're not too far from Berkshire, so that's 2 pantries in the same school district, plus a mobile food pantry. So maybe that's why we're insulated.
I did hear an interesting kind of anecdote from someone not too long ago where a trend that they had noticed was that folks coming into their pantry who typically would maybe pass on certain items that as of late are really taking everything that is offered. I'm wondering if that's a common theme. Has anyone noticed that?
I haven't noticed it. Typically, the ones who pass on things are still passing on things.
Sure.
You know, we have like half that take one of everything they're eligible for, and others that just say, no, I'm good with that right now, so I don't need that. And a lot of people
Gotcha.
are concerned that there'll be enough left for other people that are more needy than they are, so.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't come with an agenda, so I don't have anything else to bring to the group.
Yeah, I don't either. Everything's good. Going good.
Same.
Well, I think you gave me some good things to follow up with the team here on in general, and then Linda specifically about that order. I'm gonna reach out to Aaron and Amanda
Thank you.
momentarily. I'm grateful to be able to share the space. I think this is a really great opportunity to hear what's on all of your minds and kind of let the flow of the time together be based on whatever is most current or most top of mind. It is hard for me. I don't like a awkward silence or
Yeah.
you know, I usually have a packed agenda to get through, but it's good for me to zip it once in a while and just let folks talk. But I'll be certain to jump on some future ones that that Amanda has scheduled. I think the next one is it June 24th. That's a morning one. I think the next one that she has scheduled
right.
is at 11:30. Um, in the meantime, I think you know how to reach all of us at the food bank. And, you know, as always, you have our gratitude and thanks for all you're doing. Bit of
Sarah,
a, yeah, go ahead. I was
if
just
you
gonna
are going to reach out to Aaron/Amanda, I
Yep,
would really like to know whether I do have that grant money to spend or whether I should retract some of that order, make adjustments
Okay.
to it. I'd appreciate it. I did well, I didn't send about the grant money because I thought it was valid, so thank you.
okay. So if the grant does not cover it, you'd like to amend the order.
Right.
Okay. Will do. And just a heads up, and the contract is signed, we're waiting for a couple more finalized things, but it looks like October 2nd is gonna be the date of our partner celebration back at Tioga Downs this year. So obviously lots of more information to come, but that's just a sneak preview that we've settled on a date just this past week. So something to look forward to.
Thursday again?
Is the second a Thursday?
It seems like
Oh.
everything's always on a Thursday when I can't go.
Everything on a Thursday. That's not fair.
Coalition's
that's
on a Thursday?
Everything's on a Thursday.
It is a Thursday.
Oh, wonderful. Well, at least I meet you ladies on here.
All right. Thank you everybody for your time. I'll get this recording to Amanda and I'm sure she'll get it posted, but I look forward to seeing you all soon and hope you have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Sarah.
you too.
Sarah.
Thanks
Thanks.
for filling in.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.